Sometimes I look at the old pictures of myself and ask a strange question. How did that child become this person? How did I learn to read? How did I memorize thousands of words? And how did I learn photography, editing, medicine, languages, and all of the other things that I have learned over the years? The answer is something we don't think about. Every single experience was changing the structure of my brain, and the same thing is happening to you right now while you are watching this video. So how can you use science to learn anything you want? For a very long time, scientists believed that the brain was fixed and static. Children learn quickly because their brains are still developing. But once people become adults, scientists believe that the brain stops changing. And the only thing that is waiting for us, they thought that it's just decline. More memory loss, more weakness, and more forgetting. They were wrong. We discovered this when technology came. Technology actually changed everything. Look at something like the functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, which allowed scientists to look inside the living brain. And what they discovered was astonishing. Whenever people learn something new, their brains change. Physically and not metaphorically and not emotionally, just physically. And this phenomenon became known as the neuroplasticity, which is the brain's extraordinary ability to reorganize itself, to build new pathways, to strengthen old ones, to adapt, to change, to become something new. And suddenly a remarkable question appeared. If the brain can change throughout our entire lives, then what are we truly capable of becoming? Think about a child learning the alphabet. At first, every letter seems unfamiliar. And why to mention the children? Let's talk about us, adults. When we learn a new language, every letter seems unfamiliar. But day after day, the brain starts building connections. The impossible becomes familiar, the unfamiliar becomes automatic, and the brain changes. Also think about driving a car for the first time. Your hands shake. You think about the mirrors, the pedals, the road, the speed. Everything feels overwhelming, but then months later, you drive without even thinking because your brain has changed. Even remembering the name of a new friend changes your brain. Every experience leaves a mark, and that's the beautiful part. The brain can change itself in more than one way. As Norman Doidge writes in The Brain that it changes itself, the brain is not a rigid, unchangeable machine. It has the remarkable ability to reorganize itself, to form new connections, strengthen existing ones, and sometimes even compensate for damaged areas. And perhaps that means we can change too. Sometimes the change is chemical. Neurons begin communicating more efficiently. And that's why you might feel that you have mastered something after only one day, but then you wake up the next morning and discover that you have forgotten half of it. Why? Because temporary changes happen, but permanent ones did not. Long-term learning is different. Your brain literally rewires itself. So connections become stronger, networks become larger, entire regions of the brain start adapting to the new skill. Scientists discovered something fascinating. People who read Braille have larger regions devoted to touch. London taxi drivers who memorize countless streets have larger regions devoted to navigation and memory. Your brain changes according to the life you live. In other words, your habits become architecture. Perhaps the most encouraging discovery is this: age is not the end of learning. You can learn at any time, at 20, 40, 60, 80. You may need more patience, you may need more repetitions, but your brain is still listening and telling you, hey, you still have the chance. Andrew Huberman says, just enough friction, a lot of focus, and then a period of rest, and the change will happen. The brain becomes stronger when we challenge it. Just as muscles grow when we force them to carry heavier weights, the brain grows when we force it to face new experiences and do things out of comfort zone. Comfort is, wonderful, I can't deny that, but it really changes us. So, how can we build a stronger brain? The answer is surprisingly not complicated. You can do many things. For example, you can try to take a different route home. Cook a recipe you have never tried. But this is not for me. I remember the last time I entered the kitchen. Brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand. Learn a language. Travel alone. Meet different people. Give your brain permission to be surprised and to get challenged. And perhaps most importantly, sleep. Because while you are sleeping, the brain is still working. It is organizing memories, strengthening connections, and preparing you for tomorrow. But neuroplasticity has a different side. It's not good or bad. It simply responds to what you're doing. Everything you repeatedly do shapes your brain. What you practice becomes stronger. What you neglect becomes weaker. Your attention shapes your mind. Your habits shape your identity. Your life shapes your brain. And maybe that's why I feel like that this idea is so beautiful, because it means that none of us are truly finished. Every book you read, every conversation you have, every difficulty you overcome, every skill you learn, every mistake you survive changes you somehow. So, perhaps the real question is not whether your brain is changing or not. It already is. But the real question is, what are you teaching it? So, what we need to do is to go outside into the world, to try something difficult, something new, to become a beginner again. And by the time, build the brain you want. Thank you so much for watching.